Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
What's going on, Fantasy Champs? My name is Morgan Colby. I got Rick Lemon with me as always. How you doing, Rick?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful. Hopefully you enjoyed week 9 of the fantasy football season, halfway through officially. And we're jumping into crunch time here. 5 weeks left of the regular season in fantasy football. If you're out, you're out. There are probably teams that are 0-8, 0-9.
Yeah.
And those teams are officially gonzo.
What about 2-7?
Yeah, you're probably done. You would have to win out. You still got hope, but you have to win out.
Yeah.
It would take a lot. I typically like to say, like, to make the playoffs, I like to set like 8-6 as the make the playoffs record. Like if you hit 8 wins on the year, you're in. Guaranteed. Right. If you have 7, then it's going to have to do with tiebreakers and all kinds of fun stuff. So get to 8 wins. That's what your goal is right now. You are 2-7 in a league? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, 10-man band.
Yeah, you toast. But anyway, we're going to go through week 9, recap some of the games, not recap the games, recap some of the performances on the week, quickly go through real or fake, talk about some players that boomed and busted on the week, and then we'll give you our waiver ads for the week. Before we do that, check out our website, fantasygamers.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any other podcasting platforms, please leave a review and share this podcast with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, like, and comment any questions you have down below. Without further ado, let's jump into real or fake for week 9. I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah.
I remember I made those 2 big trades. Traded you Lamar.
Yep.
Got Saquon. And I said, I have Derek Carr right now, but I'm going to pick up Justin Fields. It's 5 weeks ago. I'm going to pick up Justin Fields and I'm going to stick him behind Derek Carr. I'm going to wait. And if Fields breaks out at some point this year, then I got my top 6 quarterback. I got my guy.
And guess what happened?
Justin Fields, QB 142.
Yeah.
Love it.
Pretty good, huh?
Right now, ECR ranked top 5. Love it.
Is he actually? Or is that just what you say?
Hold on. I'm gonna check because I did check this morning and it was high.
There's no way.
Top 6 ECR. 7. Sorry, Kyler Murray's ahead of him. I don't know.
You're getting a little crazy there.
I'd rather have Justin Fields.
Wow.
Kyler Murray's in my top 7 behind Justin Fields.
That's kind of crazy.
Isn't that crazy how fast things go?
I don't know if I would put him that high.
If he has another big week, he's just going to go higher.
Well, and the thing, he's playing the Lions this week. So it's like...
Yep. But either way, Justin Fields is your QB1 on the week, 42 fantasy points. I'm going to say this is real. He's a QB1 rest of the season. I do want to see one more game before I solidify him as like a week-to-week start. But his rushing is just... They figured something out. They've unlocked something in Chicago with his rushing ability, and if they can continue, to have that kind of success, doesn't really matter if they're winning or losing. Fields is going to get a lot of fantasy points, and that's why we said to draft him, right?
Right.
Rushing.
No, it's true. This is exactly why you wanted to take him late, for this type of breakout. And it was for his rushing ability was the biggest reason. But what's making him effective is obviously the rushing. But he's also like 3 passing touchdowns this week. 4 total touchdowns. Like, that's really, really good. And his schedule's pretty easy. So he's got Detroit and Atlanta next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. And the playoff schedule looks all right, too.
Yeah, well, Philly.
He'll torch Philly with his legs.
Okay. Buffalo.
The question is, can any of these people play man or zone?
I don't know. We'll have to find out.
All right. Justin Fields, QB1. Mahomes, Josh Allen, normal. Tua getting 24 fantasy points, having a good week. This is a bad week for quarterbacks, by the way. The QB10 was 17 fantasy points, so we're back to mediocrity. Tua, QB4, 24 fantasy points. I think he's a safe low-end QB1 at this point. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, schedule-wise, too, it's pretty easy, so.
Is Geno the same thing as Tua? 21 points, QB5?
Honestly, Geno Smith is literally a Pro Bowl quarterback this season.
No.
Do you know how crazy that is?
Wait. You can't, based on this season, through the first 9 weeks of the season, you can't find 3 quarterbacks in the NFC that are better than Geno Smith?
I don't know.
Statistically?
Can you? Jalen Hurts.
Okay, yeah. Jimmy G. Jimmy G probably.
No? I don't think so.
All right.
Dude, Geno Smith has 15 touchdowns, 4 interceptions on 2,200 passing yards.
2,200?
Yeah.
Saddle it up. He's franchise
got more
quarterback.
Yards and touchdowns than
you know
Jimmy
what
G.
was holding the Seahawks back last year?
Was apparently Russell Wilson. Yeah, I mean, maybe Kyler, but I don't think so. I think Geno Smith's having a better statistical season.
Right now, Geno Smith on the rest of season rankings on Fantasy Pros is currently... Where the hell are you, Geno?
Maybe Brady?
QB 13.
Yeah.
Oh, Kirk Cousins has got to be on that list.
But statistically speaking, Geno's having a better year than Kirk Cousins.
Looks like Geno's going to the Pro Bowl. Not that matters at all.
No, it doesn't. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, so I still think that Geno is one of those... I think he's in the same ballpark as Derek Carr, where he's just kind of like streamable depending on matchup. And if you really desperately he's on the edge of streamable.
I think he's probably better than Derek Carr at this point, though.
Yeah, I agree. Jalen Hurts was QB6, 20 fantasy points. Burrow came in with 19 at QB7. Kyler Murray, QB8 with 19 as well. Derek Carr had a decent performance with 18 at QB9. Like I said, similar situation with Geno, so he's always a low-end QB1. Lamar had 17. Another disappointing performance for Lamar. He's been low-end QB1 since the 2 40-point games, and I don't like that for... I mean, I didn't spend that much capital on him, but for teams that have him, that's disappointing. And then...
quickly on Lamar,
go ahead.
I don't think it's necessarily his fault because the receivers there they were already weak, and then you lose Bateman. It's kind of they have nothing there for weapons.
Yeah, they got to figure that out. But we do have Kirk Cousins low on QB1. That's typical for him, and then T-Law comes in at a low on QB1 pace as well. As far as some busts at quarterback, Matt Stafford has just been really bad.
Oh, yeah.
The Rams have been bad. And I think at this point, if you have Stafford, I don't know if you're still holding him on your roster. And I feel like this should have been done weeks ago, but you can drop him. I don't know what you're doing.
Oh, yeah. He shouldn't be rostered in redraft. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't. So I'm buying this. I'm not.
I would have never in a million years thought I'd say this, but Geno Smith is a much better fantasy option than Matt Stafford.
Oof, that's horrible.
He is.
Yeah, it's true. Justin Herbert feels a little disappointing this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's still ranked right now as a top 8 quarterback, but I remember coming into the year.
With the expectations for sure.
Was his ranking
again? No, I don't think it's his fault either. Dan Orlovsky tweeted out, and he does film on all the games.
Yeah.
And he was watching the Chargers game. He said the Chargers didn't have a passing play design for further than 7 yards in the whole first half.
I think Staley's.
You have Justin Herbert as quarterback. What do you do? And not only that, Keenan Allen out, Mike Williams out, Rashawn Slater, they're starting left tackle or right tackle out.
He's efficient too. He hasn't thrown touchdown passes nearly as many as you would anticipate.
Yeah, and did you see his interception too?
Was it bad?
He threw it. He threw like a dime to Josh Palmer. It hit him in the hands. He fell over,
I saw that.
and then it was picked off. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
God. Yeah, but his completion percentage is between 65 and 70, which is
Yeah, no, Herbert's been, I think,
good.
But just for fantasy wise, though, if you're just strictly looking at fantasy, he's been very disappointing.
He's getting bit by the Chargers bug.
Yeah, and he's got 49ers this week. So
outside of that, you see any other quarterbacks you want to reference?
No, I mean Rodgers was so disappointing. And he hasn't been great this year, but he was playing Detroit.
Yeah, there was anticipation. I mean, he had 16 points, and that's QB 13 on the week. So, like, you got almost a top 12 performance. Like, it could have been worse.
Yeah.
But you're right. He was bad against.
He's having his worst season in like a long time.
You know, too. Rick, I couldn't imagine that you would have your worst season when you trade Devontae Adams away.
Yeah, that is kind of interesting, and then not replace him. You replace him with Christian Watson.
I don't know why Rodgers thought this was like he was accepting of this. Like, you remember when he was like, if you trade Rodgers, I'll cut your throat out. And then all of a sudden he came to an amicable solution between him and the Packers. And he was like, I love this team. And then he goes back and they blow. And it's like, what did you think you really were going to do this without Adams?
Right. It doesn't make sense. So
he's done. I think having Adams for the last 2 years prolonged his ability to play, but this is I hate to say it, but this is Rodgers' cliff year. This is it.
I kind of agree with that, but I kind of don't, because I feel like if you gave him good weapons, he would still be really good.
Yeah. Possibly. All right, let's move to running backs. Let's see.
Sure.
So if you had Joe Mixon, you probably won. If you lost and had Joe Mixon, I want a screenshot of your team in the comments.
I think there was a league where I beat somebody with Joe Mixon, but let me double check.
55 points. What do you have, 4 rushing touchdowns?
He had 4 rushing and then 1 receiving. He had 5 touchdowns.
So he was RB1 on the week. Finally, a good performance for Joe, but you anticipate he should be an RB1 on a week-to-week basis. Kenneth Walker was RB2, 27.9 fantasy points. He has been really, really, really good. Like, better than Breece Hall. Good. When Breece was in.
Yeah, he has. I think it's because like Seattle's offense has just been ridiculous, which the Geno Smith effect.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think people know how to cover it, to be honest with you. Not that he's doing anything special. It's just, I think they're just so confused. They're like, wait a minute. That quarterback?
Dude, no, it's insane though. Like, I think that's partly true, but he's been making ridiculous throws. Like, just like on the run, 40 yards down the field, like through 2 defenders, like right on Tyler Lockett's.
Okay, so here's what I've been increasingly believing this. All quarterbacks have skill sets in the NFL, and all quarterbacks have some level of talent. Some quarterbacks are more talented, some quarterbacks are less talented, right? I think the quarterback position is more about confidence.
I think that does actually.
If you have zero confidence because you blew, then you suck. Geno.
I think it's also coaching helps. Coaching and talent around players help quarterbacks a lot. Geno does have talent. Wasn't he a first-round pick?
Yeah.
Back in the day with the Jets?
Yeah, for the Jets, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, he does have like natural abilities.
I remember hating him because he beat the Patriots and stood on the bench and like taunted our fans, and I was so mad.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but I guess he's emerged.
But Walker,
subtle shot at Breece Hall. He actually was putting up 20-point weeks too. I just had to double check that.
Yeah. Walker though should be ranked in your top 10.
I would agree.
Season. Travis Etienne, RB3 on the week, 26 fantasy points. He should also be ranked in your top 10 at this point.
Yeah.
He's been very, very good, and
I'm a little concerned.
I'm not gonna lie. If you watch the Jaguars game, I'm a little concerned about ETN, and I think they're gonna watch the tape and realize I love the workload. I love how much they're giving him, but I don't know if I don't know if he can handle it. Yeah. So I think they do need to get somebody else a little bit more involved to get him off the field. But there were times in this game where, like, at one point in like the second quarter, he got hit. He got up and he limped over to the sidelines, came out for one play, went back in, and played again. Third quarter, fourth quarter, like 3 different times he came up limping.
I don't think he's meant to get like 28 carries a game. He should be getting like 15 to 20 with receiving work.
So I think he's fine for now, but like,
yeah,
things could go sideways. Kenyon Drake was the RB4. This is fake. I can't get behind that.
No Gus, no Dobbins.
No Gus, no Dobbins. Good start on a week-to-week basis when you don't have those guys in there, but when they come back, it should change. Derrick Henry, 23, pretty normal. Cordero Patterson, 18. I don't know. I can't figure it out, so I'm not.
You missed Eckler, bro.
Did I miss Eckler? I had
the RB1.
I had my mouse over his name, and then I just skipped it over. 24 fantasy points for Austin Eckler. Sorry.
He has 60 catches through 9 games or 8 games.
Well, I was right for a couple weeks, and then I was wrong, so never mind.
Yeah, I bought the cheese.
Oh, for the love of God. Jeff Wilson Jr. had 16 points.
Yep.
I'm done with the Dolphins. Like, I can't with this backfield. Just avoid it at all.
He got less work. Mostert got more work. He just had a touchdown and a couple big plays. But quickly on Patterson, he still sucks. He had 3 yards of carry. He just had 2 goal line touchdowns because it's, the Falcons. So.
Yeah. Well, week to week, man, just keeps happening. So I'm gonna say it's fake, but if he keeps doing this, I might just.
Oh, Patterson or Wilson?
Cordero Patterson.
It might be real because
it happens.
Nothing to do with him though. But.
If Ramondre Stevenson had a freaking competent offensive line, he'd probably be a top 5 running back right now. He is an RB1 again for I think the 3rd or 4th week in a row. He has
look at his stats since week 4 or 5, like yes, or even week 3, I should say, since week 3. Yeah.
Jets had Michael Carter have 15 points. I think he's a good not streamable. I think he's a good play on a week to week, not on week to week, but given the week for matchups. Miles Sanders 15 points.
Who is Raheem Blackshear?
He plays for the Carolina Panthers. Donta Foreman sucked eggs.
Yeah, he had some receiving work.
And got some receiving work in the game. So that's obviously fake. Yeah. As far as busts are concerned, let's take a look at some busts here, my guy. I'm going backwards, trying to see who we got. Maybe nobody busted. That would be one.
Does Cam Akers count anymore?
Clyde had 2 points.
Clyde, we were so right about Clyde. Oh my gosh.
He's fallen off a cliff, and it's because they a couple weeks ago they said, okay, we're starting Pacheco, and they're clearly totally okay with the 3-headed horse.
Yeah.
And so
Clyde, but he only had 5 touches.
Clyde has taken a big hit. It took a little longer than anticipated, but Clyde has collapsed, and I'm glad I traded him.
Was Foreman a bust with the expectations people had?
I feel like there was expectations, but I don't mean like
for this week, not necessarily long term, but like with Chuba out.
That's a bust. And I think that'll probably continue with Chuba and Shearer or whatever the frig his name is. It's probably going to be like 3 running backs for Carolina, but there's going to be times where Foreman will go off. I can't tell you when it's going to be. David Montgomery, 5 fantasy points. He's been disappointing this year.
Aaron Jones, 7 points.
I will say, Aaron Jones, 7 points. Good God. I saw some people talking up Gibson for this week's game. He had 6 points.
I didn't hate Gibson going into it because McKissick was out, so you would expect him to get receiving work, but he only had 3 targets.
That's bad. Kamara had 9. Disappointing. There was a team in our league that has Alvin Kamara. Only needed 16 points from him, so it was a pretty even shot, like 50-50. He gets 9, so loses by 6 points. So I would say that's a bust. And then Swift coming in at 8. Did you watch the Lions? I know you watched
absolutely
the Lions.
It's probably the most aggravating thing for me is the Lions and DeAndre Swift. I can't do it, dude. He had a 16% snap percentage. He still got 8 fantasy points. Two carries, 3 receptions.
I think Dan Campbell loves himself Jamal Williams more than his own children. So
because he knows how to do speeches. All
right.
It's ridiculous. It's just like Swift has been limited because he's been battling injuries, but he's been battling the same injury since week 3. Like he's good to go. If he's playing, he should be good to go. If he's playing, he should be getting at least minimum 60% snap percentage. It's fair. A freaking joke. Fire Dan Campbell.
Somebody riled him up today.
Oh my gosh! Sorry,
can't watch the Detroit Lions anymore, bro. You got to get off that. I've been relieved of that.
I didn't even mean to this week. I was just watching I was watching it for the Packers more than the Lions, and then
I'm gonna say why I don't have to watch the Lions anymore in a second in the tight end section, but wide receivers. Devontae Adams had 36 points. Tyreek Hill 27. Tyreek Hill's been elite.
Yeah, he's been
fantastic.
He's the wide receiver 1 in fantasy right now.
Cooper Kupp 26 fantasy points. Justin Jefferson 25. So the superstarring.
Adams bounced back after everybody freaked out. That was kind of an obvious thing.
Yeah, it was an obvious bounce back. Jalen Waddle was also in the top 10. We had Christian Kirk revive. Here's the thing with Christian Kirk. Early in the season, I think a lot of people were really excited. I remember he jumped, after the first 3 weeks of the season, he jumped into, the top 15 at the wide receiver position. Since then, he's just been not good. There's going to be weeks where Kirk scores 20. And then there's going to be weeks where he doesn't score anything. And so figuring out what weeks Kirk scores 20 and what weeks he doesn't are hard to figure out. But he's definitely not a wide receiver 1 rest of the season.
I wouldn't say that he's a wide receiver 1. I agree with that, but it was a great investment for an 8th round draft pick.
Oh, yeah. Hardman has found his way in the last 3 weeks. They're utilizing him in very unique ways. I would say mostly touchdown dependent. If I'm not going to...
How did he get 28 against San Fran when he only had 4 catches for 30 yards and a touchdown?
Rushing.
What was it? Oh, I see. Rushing touchdowns.
Yeah. So this week he had 9, 6, and a tutty. It took him a little while, but he's starting to kind of figure it out. He's to 2 wide receiver 1 weeks in a row. But this schedule down the stretch is going to be difficult, and I think as Tooney gets more involved, I think that'll be less work for Hardman. Juju Smith-Schuster having a decent week for Kansas City again.
Continuing that stretch
of games. So he might be somebody that continues doing this. I don't know. What do you think? Real or fake? You want to make a decision now?
I don't know. I'm gonna say it's fake still.
Okay, I'll agree with you.
They had 64 pass attempts. So
Allen Lazard, boomer bust. He's the new hotness. He's the new Mike Williams.
I think he's had double-digit points every week that he's played this year.
Has he really?
Other than week 2.
But it's still I love the new feature from fantasy from Sleeper, by the way, the ranking feature. That's pretty dope.
Yeah. It's not on computer version.
He's been basically a wide receiver 2 low end most of the season. But good performance for Lazard. I don't think
I think it's real. Right, Romeo Dobbs, by the way, is out 4 to 6 weeks. So
I heard that. Josh Palmer, the guy who Rick was making fun of earlier, had 18 points.
So beyond fake.
That's fake.
But although, I mean, as long as Williams and Allen is out, he's going to be getting 10 targets.
The Jets have decided to get Garrett Wilson involved with 17 fantasy points. The last 2 weeks he's been pretty good. I don't think he's a wide receiver 1 rest of the season, but I think he could be a top 24 wide receiver.
Good flex, maybe.
And then Lockett had 17, and Mooney also had 17. Darnell, Moneyman, Mooney. All right, some busts here. Robert Woods, 0 points. Did he even play?
Yeah, he did.
Oh my God, dude. That's probably because of
they didn't really.
Willis. Looking for some for some wide receivers here. I felt good about Taekwon. Not a good fantasy investment yet.
No. Are we ready to give up on Drake London for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I
not that I was ever in.
I would roster him, but at this point, if you're starting Drake London on a week-to-week basis for the Atlanta Falcons, this has been a slow fade. And now that people have tape on Atlanta, they blow. They suck. They're terrible. They're not a good football team. Atlanta sucks, and their offense is not good. And I think people have started to figure it out, and until they have a good offense and a quarterback and weapons and all kinds of stuff, and they have a team, Drake London will probably not have success. So
I think honestly they're not that far away, but their quarterback's just Mariota blows, and I think
Mhm.
Arthur Smith's kind of dumb, and the way he runs his offense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I personally I don't even know if London. I mean, he's worth a roster spot, but like if you're in 10-person leagues with like 5 bench spots, I don't know if he is worth a roster spot at this point.
Okay. Devonta Smith had 4 points, wide receiver 54. Disappointing week, but that happens with him. So I think obviously that's fake, but
DJ Moore was
honestly at this point, Michael Pittman Jr. had 5 points. I don't think he's going to score 5 points, but I think this regression is real.
You're gonna make me cry, bro.
Indianapolis. I love Michael Pittman.
You told me to make that trade.
We pegged the breakout, but it's clear that the Colts want to tank.
Yeah.
So this is like Pittman with Sam Ehlinger is not going to work. And obviously it's New England, so like it's not like you can't roster him.
He did have the most targets on the team again.
Yeah. But
Ehlinger just has been okay.
Michael Pittman's disappointing. I think he's not a wide receiver 1 anymore or a wide receiver 2. I think he should be in the wide receiver 3 range.
Bro, stop.
Gabe Davis. 5.3 points. He's just, you know what?
I told you. I tried to tell you.
We told you. I don't know what to say anymore. Allen Robinson sucks.
But you missed on DJ Moore, who was
4 points. I did miss him.
You know,
I've seen him down here so many times. I just forgot.
Well, he's had a couple good weeks in a row, and Matthew Berry said he was going to be a top 5 wide receiver this week against Cincinnati. And I saw that on my TV before Sunday. And I was like, cool, I'm going to play him in a DFS lineup, and he got 4 fantasy points.
Oh, my God.
So,
Amon-Ra had 9 points. That's the last guy we'll talk about on the bust. I don't know what to do with Amon-Ra. Oh, Mike Evans had 9, too. I don't know what to do with Amon-Ra anymore. I think he's good, but like I don't know what's going on in Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, I think losing Hawk is going to hurt their whole offense.
Yeah.
But I'm still good on Amon-Ra because his target share has still been high. But yeah, this year's Cooper Cup after the first 3 weeks is definitely not going to happen. But I still like Amon-Ra. I think he's double-digit fantasy point kind of receiver every week.
Okay. Let's move to tight end real quick, and then we'll talk about some guys you can pick up off the waiver wire.
Sure.
So Dallas Goedert finishing as the tight end 1. I ranked him a little bit lower this week. Don't know why. That was a bad idea.
Doesn't know.
He had 24. Cole Kmet with 22. Cole!
The Cole Kmet breakout game,
hey,
right?
Maybe.
Probably not.
Keep an eye on it. He's probably on your waiver wire. Keep an eye on it.
My gosh, he's had such an awful season, though.
Yeah, dude. Well, I don't know if that's him. That's just
last 2 weeks, 9 and 22, though.
Yeah.
Watch out.
Yeah, I honestly keep in mind. We'll talk about him on the waiver wire. Travis Kelce with 20. So, like you would expect this from Goddard and Kelce. Cade Otton caught a touchdown pass. Have you been waiting for this?
He has been pretty.
Yeah, right. He's been mid.
He's been okay. Yeah.
Hawkinson with 16, baby. Oh my God! So many people said don't start him. It was like, oh no, you're not gonna get him involved.
I was worried about it, but then there was Kevin O'Connell, I think on Friday said like, oh yeah, we're gonna use him a lot, and I was like, oh boy.
Yeah. So he had 16.
I saw that quote.
To be honest with you, like I think this, like we'll see how things go in more weeks, but like there is going to be a lot more opportunity, I think, on the Vikings offense for TJ Hawkinson than there will be for him when he was with Detroit. And I think like Detroit blows. They do throw it a lot, but there were just times where like it seems like they don't know how to get their star players involved. DeAndre Swift, TJ Hawkinson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, like it's either one or nobody. You know what I mean? So him being with Minnesota, like they have Justin Jefferson, they have Adam Thielen, they have Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
It just opens the field up for TJ Hawkinson.
I think like on a week-to-week basis, his floor is definitely higher. I don't know if he's going to get like a 3-touchdown game with the Vikings, like he did. Yeah, like we did with the Lions.
No, he won't. But if he's a guy that gets targeted a lot and he's getting a touchdown, like he's going to.
Yeah. You know, I also thought it was an encouraging game because of how much they used him, how efficient he was, especially for PPR because, like, again, with Kirk Cousins, like, I don't know how many big games he's going to have or big plays, but he's going to be efficient and he's going to get a lot of receptions.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, for PPR, it's great. I think rest of season rankings, he did move up. I think he's at 5 now, which is probably where he should be.
Right.
Instead of like 8 or 9. So, yeah, Hawk, legit.
Yep. Zach Ertz, 15, normal. Noah Fant had 14.
Decided to show up.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he actually hasn't been used as much as he has.
I'm very because like I didn't like Noah Fant going into the year, but that was because I didn't think Geno Smith was a good quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But now that he's a good quarterback, it's kind of surprising that Noah Fant has sucked this year. But
yeah,
good to see him have an okay game.
Yeah. Any tight ends that you want to talk about that busted?
Let me check.
Kyle Pitts with 4 again.
Somebody.
Kyle Pitts.
Taysom Hill, bro. The 1 week I'd pick him up and start him to get 1 fantasy point.
Yeah.
That's great.
Kyle Pitts, 4.
That's my luck.
Like I said.
Yeah, dude. That's so. Did you see there was a play where he like ran a fantastic route, broke the linebacker's ankles, was wide open like 30 yards down the field, and Mariota overthrew him by like 10 yards.
Oh dear God!
It would have been a walk-in touchdown.
Yep, that is the offense for Atlanta. But
yeah,
all right, let's move.
7 targets, 2 catches. That's so sad.
That's so bad. Let's move to the waiver wire portion of this show and get you your waiver wire ads for the week. And we'll start with the quarterbacks. All right, Rick, same as normal. Give me a quarterback that you think might be okay rest of the season and a quarterback that you would like to stream this week.
Okay, well, if somehow Fields is still available,
go get him.
He needs to be picked up.
Yeah.
It started rest of the season. If he's not, it's kind of tough. I know Daniel Jones right now is at the top of the list, but I don't really want to pick up and start him. But I'm gonna say Daniel Jones.
Okay.
Reason being is he's really gross, but he is playing Houston this week, coming off a bye.
Mm-hmm.
I think he probably has a good week to stream, and should get you like 15, 20 fantasy points. But I wouldn't expect any huge numbers from him. But it's a great matchup, so
yeah. I would say right now, owned in 25% of leagues, it's about that time. Deshaun Watson should be rostered.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You gotta pick up Deshaun.
Where
Watson.
does once he starts without him playing a game?
I'm gonna say
you're not allowed to see him play first.
Between 14 and 16.
Could be rusty. 14 and 16.
Yeah, that's where I would rank him.
Yeah, he might even be higher for me.
I know you love him, but he has not played in almost 2 years.
It's hard to say that I love Deshaun Watson now, because I loved him 2 years ago before, he was
man, you got a track record.
Doing some crazy things.
You love yourself some Brad Marchand.
Watson's different.
Whoa. You like Watson. You love yourself some Watson, and then me and Rick both have an obsession with Kyrie Irving.
All right, those are 3 completely different cases. All right, Watson was totally came out of left field. All right, we didn't see that coming. That was random. Marchand, I like him because he's on my team.
I got a question. Do you like Bryce Harper?
He's a jerk. I actually kind of do. So
I do too. I'm not gonna lie. But he's apparently a big D-bag. So
yeah. I love Kyrie still. There's nothing he could ever do for me to not like him on the court. Anyway.
Yep.
I think Watson.
Should be rostered.
Just because his legs, and I think his upside, I would put him around. Okay. I'd probably put him around 12 for me, but we'll see.
Yeah. I'm between 14 and 16 because I don't think it's going to be. Now, I think
it might be a little gross.
I think he can come back week 11 is what I think can happen. Stupid part is that in the home league, that would have been an option for me if Justin Fields didn't work out, but somebody rostered him even though they already have a quarterback.
I'm pretty sure he's been on that guy's team the entire year.
Yeah, very stupid. And at some point, they're going to have to drop him because they already have a quarterback. So I would say get Deshaun Watson for rest of season. And then the other guy that I probably would pick up is, let me just quickly vet this because I want to make sure. would probably be Jimmy G versus the Chargers.
I was gonna say, like, if not Daniel Jones, Jimmy G is a good stream.
Yeah.
With Jimmy McCaffrey G. there, dude, that offense is freaking loaded.
Yeah,
like they have
really
Pro Bowlers all over the offense, and all Garoppolo has to do is facilitate. And that's what he's been doing, 20 points, 19, 19.
So it's a completely different story from like 2 years ago. Rick and I are big Jimmy G guys, or were. I don't know if you still are. But we love Jimmy G, and he got to the Super Bowl, and they were playing the Chiefs, and all he needed to do was complete one pass to win. And it was the drive to end the game. Rick and I looked at each other at that Super Bowl, and we're like, this is it. This is where we find out Jimmy G's actually good. Like, if he's the guy. And then he choked. So who knows? Maybe he gets another shot because the NFC blows.
I hope so.
Like, this is bound to be. This is the easiest NFC bet I could ever imagine. Like, it's going to be Eagles 49ers.
I think so too.
I
wouldn't be surprised. What I would say is I root for Garoppolo. I definitely root for Garoppolo. I don't know if he's good, but I root for him.
Fair enough. Let's talk about some running back ads for the week. I don't like Jeff Wilson. I don't want anything to do with Miami, so you can stay the freak away from him. And to be honest with you, like I would add. I've been talking about Kyron Williams for weeks. He has not been activated. I would add him. It's going to be free, and then I would speculatively add Chase Edmonds because you just don't know. Maybe Denver is done with Melvin. They were giving Latavius Murray a lot of work in the London game, and it's clear that they're like, okay, we like Melvin Gordon, but we don't really like Melvin Gordon, so frick him. But Edmonds is a guy that could walk into that backfield, and if he's successful, they could just be like, all right, you take it. We don't give a frick. It's a 1 week speculative ad where you add him. If it doesn't work out, then you can drop him.
Right. I think that's fair. It's kind of gross, though. A lot of bodies in that backfield. And then I see, like, did you say Kyron Williams as an option?
Yeah, Kyron Williams.
The way you feel about Jeff Wilson is the way you feel about him, because I think the Rams' backfield is just a mess, and Cam Akers is back to playing. So you have Akers, Henderson, and him.
Oh, I forgot about Akers.
Yeah, so it's just a mess. He could earn the most work, but that offense blows too right now. Outside of Cooper Kupp, they have nothing going for them. Jeff Wilson, I think, is intriguing, although it is gross, and I don't love that backfield either. But it's potentially a guy who can get like 15 touches on a really good offense, which is always valuable. But I don't know. I'm not really going out of my way to get Jeff Wilson. One guy I will note, and not because he's on my home league team, but Rachaad White, because I don't have him in any dynasty.
Oh yeah, he's getting more.
So there is no bias, but
there's legit bias.
Well, he's not had a good year, but I've held on to him, and there are reports this week that Leonard Fournette is very frustrated with his role. There's also a report from a beat writer that said he thinks that Rachaad White is going to become the starter after the bye. So there's a lot of chatter going on.
Why?
And I think he should be rostered just for that.
All this happened
because if he gets the starting role, right. But if they end up kind of moving off from Leonard Fournette, Rachaad White's going to be crazy valuable. And
that's going to make my ETN draft pick in the third round look so good.
Oh, over Fournette, yeah. And Zeke too.
Yep.
Because Fournette has not been good at all this year, but for PPR he's been great, and that's because Brady just dumps it off to him like 5 times a game.
If that happens to Rachaad White, you get a free top 20 running back.
Exactly. In PPR, dude, he might even. I mean, I would say top 20 for sure, but it's only just on pure passing volume alone. Like he's going to be good
and for the 5, sake of your home league fantasy team.
He's top 10. No,
he's like, I got to.
No, but I would say he's definitely PPR if he becomes a starter. Huh. He's probably around like.
I did 15, not hear 20. Any of that. You got the Bucks beat reporters on auto alert, don't you?
Bro, I got that. That was a sleeper notification, bro.
Oh,
get on it.
Wow, I'm just behind.
Yeah, you are.
Anyway, let's talk about some wide receivers. Wan'Dale Robinson owned in 23% of leagues. I think
he should be owned.
He should be owned at this point. I don't know why he's not. Hardman makes it real hard for me not to have him on my team, so I would add him as well. What guys are you looking at, Rick?
So I have Michael Gallup and Peoples-Jones in the home league, and Peoples-Jones I like because he's been decent with Brissett, and if Watson comes in and plays well, then he's going to actually be really valuable. Gallup, though, like I've been holding on to him, but he's just not been good. I don't know why, but he hasn't been. Dak's been spreading the ball around a lot, and I think I'm waiting for that big Michael Gallup game, and it just hasn't happened. I don't know. Terrace Marshall, I actually do really like. The only problem is that Panthers offense still sucks, despite having a nice little game or two after they fired their coach. They're back to being the Panthers. So I don't know if you want a Panthers player.
Yeah. But
he's the clear wide receiver too, and he's making some good plays. Had 9 targets in week 8, 6 targets in week 9, so not too bad. And then quickly, I'm going to say I tried to get Odell this week. I didn't get it. I think Odell should absolutely be owned in leagues.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Odell Beckham, add him now. Jameson Williams, another guy I would keep an eye on. I want to see him come off IR because now with Hawk gone, like Detroit blows, but like with Hawk gone, this opens some things up for Jameson Williams. I just want to see what he does. So if he blows,
I agree.
You can drop him.
But the only problem is with the Lions losing as much as they are, there's a chance they might just not play him all year.
That is fair. That is very fair. But I'd still add him. All right, let's give a tight end. Rick, you give a tight end. I'll give a tight end. Go ahead, bud.
You letting me get first dibs?
Yeah, dude.
All right, I'll give you the guy. I'll say Greg Dulcich.
Yeah.
So you can talk about the other guy. He's been really good. It feels like he's forming a real connection with Russell Wilson. He's the clear third option in the passing game. Oh, geez, sorry. And he's getting a lot of targets, a lot of receptions in PPR, 12, 11, 12, 3 straight weeks. That's really good. That's top 10 for your tight end. So he should be rostered for sure.
All right. I like Cole Kmet.
There you go.
I think it's we pegged him as a breakout. Does it still count as a breakout if it comes out in the second half of the season?
Sure. He's got to be getting like double-digit points the rest of the season.
Unsure I've ever heard in my life.
He has to like really be good. He has to dominate pretty much.
Yeah. But like Rick said earlier, 9 and 22 has been his last 2 weeks, so he's been pretty good. I like what I'm seeing from Kmet. So I think he's definitely worth an ad if you don't have a tight end. I like Font too. There's your waiver wires.
All right, there you go.
Good. In the bag. Tomorrow we got Thursday night preview. We're going to go through the awful game on Thursday night. It is abysmal. We'll talk about it on Thursday's show. Very bad. No good game. But anyway, get these waiver wire ads in, improve your team, and we'll talk to you later this week, guys. See you later.
See you.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube, and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.